What's up, baby?
What is popping?
So 26. Got my main man Jonah Korchin with us.
Good, guys.
Super excited. This guy is a sub 2 legend, right? He's crushing deals in NorCal with no money out of your own pocket, right? You're doing a lot of free lead generation with
agent outreach. And I just got to say, I'm on here to battle for the agent outreach. Mike released some reel that I saw where he was.
Let's go. I knew it was coming up.
Let's go. I got this from an agent. Like, God, don't do agent outreach. I'm here to just let y'all know that's
added you, bro.
Mike is an idiot, and that's why I'm on the podcast. I was going to comment when you invited me.
I love it. It's crazy because I used to have same thoughts, right? Like, and I'm sure Mike's changed since he dropped that rule. I don't know when you dropped that reel. Was that recently?
Nah, son, that shit was yesterday, bro.
It was yesterday. Oh, all right, bet. I know my views have changed. Like, originally thinking, I'm like, yo, I don't want to work with realtors. Like, why would I ever work with them? They're stupid, right? They don't know what we know. And then in today's market, we actually added an agent outreach part of the business to my business, right? So just gotta roll with the punches and adapt as the market changes. So I'm super excited for today, bro, and hear how you're crushing it. And really, like, how'd you get into this? How'd you get into agent outreach? Because right now it's the cool thing to do, right? Like, everybody wants to get into agent outreach.
It's been wild recently. I don't know why. Like, there's been a resurgence. Like, I don't know. Like, I think Pace with his elephant challenge, and then I mean, I've been doing it for a while, but I feel like I've just been seeing it from just different creators. I mean, Jerry Norton too has been doing it for a while, but I feel like he's been picking it up. Yeah. It's become really popular recently. How I got into it, honestly, I mean, I was actually an Astro student before I was a sub 2 student. People don't actually know that.
Can you actually back up a little bit? Because a lot of people are like, agent outreach. What the heck is agent outreach? I don't even know what the hell.
Oh, I think you meant literally back up. Okay.
Well, here's the thing. Some people watch my channel that aren't in the weeds so much as we are when it comes to real estate.
I mean, it's basically just getting deals from real estate agents. I don't know. That's basically it, right? Like, it's the art of getting, instead of going direct to seller, instead of calling sellers, you call or text or somehow market to real estate agents who then make relationships with sellers for you. It's an awesome method. I love it a lot. It's really good. I think it's great for integrators. I'm not an integrator even. Like, I'm actually a visionary. But I think if you're an integrator and you don't have a visionary business partner, I think it's a much more effective method for you than direct to seller. Because, like, an integrator is not going to like talking to sellers, like, just naturally. But talking to agents, there's not really negotiation. Like, there is, in the sense that, but it's so easy. There's no finesse. It's like doing business. It's like business to business. It's like the agent gives you a price, and then you're like, no, I can do this. And they're like, okay, let me check with the seller. And then you have a relationship with that agent. They do all the, like, convincing, all the, like, emotional play, all the finessing. And they're like, okay, here it is on a platter, right? So
they do the fun part.
They do, yeah. I mean, like, it depends on who you are, right? Like, you guys are killer closers. If you're a killer closer, don't do it. If you're just trying to make money really easily, then 100% do it.
Are you calling agents who have properties listed, like, fresh lists, or like you calling like 30 days out, or like
my strategy, it's all about relationships. It's a relationship game, right? So people have different strategies, right? Like, you've seen like Ryan Zolan or like certain other people who just go MLS. That's the elephant challenge, right? I think that's really good for getting like some deals done. Like, I think it's a really good, really broke way where, like, I have $0 to just like quickly get.
What does that mean?
Straight when you're really broke? What do you mean?
No, I'm saying like the straight MLS challenge, like just going directly to
like MLS. Literally going on the MLS and just being and like calling the agent there, right?
Calling the listing agent and telling them that they can represent you.
Yeah, that's not me. I actually don't do that. I don't really do that much on the MLS.
Okay.
I am all about making relationships with realtors. That's 100% my strategy, is like, I'm going to give as much value to this realtor as possible so that they want to bring me deals, right? That's how I feel like is 100% the way you should be doing it.
I love that.
In the sense, and like, I think so many people are just cold calling agents on the MLS, and like, they're just like, why? Like, you're the exact same stupid person that like everybody who's calling me is. You want an assignment clause in there. You haven't asked at all about the motivation. You don't know anything about me. You haven't told me anything about you. You just gave me a price. You're just submitting an offer, and I have no idea who you are, right? And how you really make money with agent outreach is the relationship of having them love you, right? Because that's when you make the really big bucks, in my opinion. There are other people doing MLS and all of that stuff. I personally don't. I might start adding it on too, but that's not the real money maker, in my opinion, with agent outreach.
So that video that I put out on my Instagram, I essentially said direct to agent stinks.
Right.
What I meant by direct to agent is I meant what you're talking about.
MLS. Right?
I meant going on the MLS, searching up for rundown properties, talking to the listing agent and saying, hey, you can represent me as well. Can you submit my offer? Right. I'm in a fix and flip right now where that's how I got the deal. The reason why I think that it stinks is the exact reason why you said it. It's a broke boy game, which right. no like disrespect, because I've been there. I get it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been dead broke. So I get it. But here's what it does. It takes the people that aren't willing to invest in themselves and invest in education. They start using that strategy like crazy. What does that mean? People that aren't educated are going on the MLS, getting contracts locked up that they'll never be able to perform on because they've never paid for any mentorship. They've never got educated. All they saw was YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Or they haven't even saw that. So what ends up happening is our sellers get put in a bind. They get put in bad situations. But not only that, it gives our industry a very bad rep. And now, because our industry is getting a bad rep in the realtor world, that's when wholesaling gets super, super regulated and they crack down on it. You see what I mean? Because as of right now, let's just say people are going directly to seller and they're doing some shady shit. A seller on 123 Main Street is never going to be able to get to a board of realtors who has connections to people up high in the like politics of the real estate world. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, direct to agent ain't the thing for me. However, what you're talking about, relationships and everything like that, that's a whole different game, bro. Like that's badass. So one of my questions is when you build a relationship with one of these agents, right? How many deals will they typically get you, like on average? Because it's probably a reoccurring thing, right?
So you know the law, you guys know the 80-20 rule? You guys ever heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So for your audience that doesn't know, 80% of your deals come from 20% of your leads, right? It's the same with agents. I think it's even less. I think it's like, really for me, I think it's like 80% of our deals come from like, I mean, really like 5 agents, right?
Holy
and I
crap.
have 5,000 agents in my database, right?
Wow.
Because I'm the guy for them, right? I am their investors. I'm their for the people who don't know Jamil, and I've talked to Jamil a lot, they're my Monique Walker. They're the people who's like, they're always going to send me deals first before anybody else, right? That's obviously the key. And that's relationship building and performing and knowing what you're doing, right? And getting back to what you're saying, exactly, like if you don't know what you're doing, it gives a bad rap to realtors, and realtors are powerful, right, in the game. And then that's really bad. And it's really bad with direct to sellers too, either way, but I get what you mean in the sense there's more power with realtors. But the point is that no matter what, you got to squat up with somebody. I don't care if you join Sub2 or Astro. You got to find a Daryll Ellison, a Mike Gomes, or me if you're doing agent outreach, them for direct to seller. Because if you don't know what you're doing in your market and you don't have like a dispo wholesaler or a couple buyers that you know performed, you're basically like, how would I describe it? It's like you're making peanut butter and nobody wants your peanut butter, right? Like you haven't done any market research, right? You got to like actually know what the hell is happening in your market, what people are buying, at what price. So yeah.
These top 20% realtors that you have in your system, right? Are you tripling down on them? Like, are you bringing them freaking Christmas gifts and shit?
So, I mean, again, so my strategy is all about relationship building. There's a policy in my company, right, where every time we close a deal, we send a thank you card to the agent afterwards and give them like a $50 Amazon card or like a different gift card. A few that have brought like more than that, like maybe 2 or 3 deals. I got to think of something extra, right? Like something like that. I'm going to think of more because it'll probably get stale. But
Jonah wine and dines.
I wine and dine my realtors, guys. No, I'm like seriously though. Like I am going to be above and beyond everybody else in my market of how I build relationships. Most people, I'm not talking any shade about anybody in the industry, but like I think too many people just are like, get on the phone with a realtor, be like, hey, I'm a real estate investor. I want an ugly property ASAP. What do you got? Right? You sound like every other dude or girl who is calling these realtors. You have no differentiating factors. You have nothing going for you, right? Well, my main line that I try to teach everybody in like any podcast or anything I do, this is the line, whoever's watching right now, this is the line you should write down. Like this is the magic gem. This is a better gem than anything else I'm going to say because this has made me hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Let me get my
This line right here. Basically, so let's pretend we're talking. So I was like, all right, Mr. Agent, so great to meet you. My name is Jonah. I'm a real estate investor in Northern California. I look for fixers a lot like everyone else who calls you, but that's not like really what I'm looking for. That's not like my main criteria. My main criteria is that I am a problem solver. I solve sellers' problems. That's what I care about more than anything else. That's why I started this company. So if you ever come across a situation where the bank is going to foreclose in 3 days, or there are tax liens that need to be negotiated, or there's no equity, or they just need a quick close, whatever it is, my goal is to be the tool in your tool belt that you use in order to solve that problem and get you your commission. Right?
Oh, good.
That's the line. I know that was like a long line, but like that's where you differentiate yourself of like, you want to put your why into the pitch, right? Yep. Like that is my why. It's like, I actually like this business is great because you make a lot of money, but like also what's sick about it is like you're actually helping real people, right? Like most people just think like, damn, that 20K assignment fee is sick as hell, but like think about the actual person you helped, right?
Mm-hmm. You know what I like about this too? What I love about this is you get to help more people, right? Because a lot of people think like, oh, just the sellers have pain. I tell my team all the time, realtors have pain too, right? A lot of times they're bringing us the leads that nothing else can be done with, right? We don't want the hot ones that they can just sell to a family who's going to move in to. We want ones, like you said, we're here to solve problems, right? So not only are we just solving the seller's problem, but we're solving the realtor's problem as well. If you're going to wholesale it, you're solving a buyer's problem as well. You're solving a seller and you're solving your problem too, right? So that's amazing, bro. And I really love the fact that we talk about relationship business, right? And I want to explain why it's so important, right? Like in direct to seller, you're only getting one deal out of the seller most times, in most cases, right? Let me not say in every case, right? Because there's times where we've had deals from seller multiple times, right? They have other properties or a portfolio, right? But that's rare. With realtors, they have deals all the time, the time. Right. So my question to you is how do you differentiate the good realtors versus the bad ones? Like I want to only deal with the players, bro. I want people who actually have deals. and good deals at that.
You know? I don't really, to be honest. Like I personally, like I hit up everyone. I want every freaking realtor to get a text from me every other week at least. I'm personally a volume guy, right? Like I do have my realtors that like are mine, but like there's no way to differentiate it at the beginning. It's just like it would be like asking me, like you can do certain things with a seller to pre-qualify whether they're a good lead or not. Agents, it's kind of like you just gotta like actually like when they start talking to you and how they deal with you when it's a lead, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's impossible until you have a contract with them, really.
I got you.
In my opinion. And like yeah, I mean, like for me, I would say I would still hit up every single realtor in my market, like every 2 weeks if I can. Okay. I don't pre-qualify realtors really. I think it's just about the how you get deals really with agents, especially at the beginning, is just being the guy who texts them every other week for a year and a half. I have a realtor. I got a deal from. I think I made like 20K assignment fee. We haven't done a deal again yet, but they like literally, they were just like, they had guys they knew who could close. But I'm the guy who texted her every other week for a year and a half with no responses. Like I'll keep going until they tell me to stop. And then she finally texted me back. Is like, yo, I got something. You want it so badly that like, I'm gonna send it to you. Cause like you're so on it. And I think if wholesalers realize this, what?
No, I was just saying that's what it takes.
It's also like, if you realize this from a wholesaling perspective, you'll realize this with your buyers too. My best buyers, or at least one of them, literally hits me up every other week. It's like, Jonah, what the hell do you got? Like, I need another property. What are you doing? Like, she's so funny. One of my really good buyers is like, Jonah, like, what are you even doing? Are you just like playing video games? I need another deal. Like, what the hell are you doing, bro? Get me another deal. Right?
Here's what I'm hearing, Jonah. I'm hearing like you doing this very differently than everybody else, meaning you're putting your heart and soul, you're putting your why into this shit. You know what I'm saying? And most people don't do that. Most people are just like, you know what? Let me just go try to put a bunch of offers in on the MLS because I think that's going to make money and that's going to make me hit my goals. Or same thing with direct to seller. Let me just call as many sellers as possible and give an offer. If I give so many, then I'm going to get a deal. Yeah, great. You got to have KPIs and all that type of stuff. But if that's your mindset to the business, like I was on a call with a wholesaler the other day and I was listening to him on the phone. He didn't give a shit about the seller at all. Didn't care about anything. All he cared about was finding a deal and submitting an offer. I didn't even say anything about it because I was just like, I had to run or something, but I put in the back of my mind, dude, this is why he's not getting any deals. Right. And then people come to Jonah and they're like, dude, this real estate agent thing does not work. But are you whining and dining your agent? You know what I'm saying? Bro. Are you putting your freaking heart and soul into this shit?
Thank you cards every time they get a deal. And it's so easy. Like I can drop the website. I think it's not postable. It's like Simply Noted. That's the name of it. It costs $3. You made an assignment fee of $20K and you can't spend like 10 minutes to go on a website, have them write a handwritten note for $3 and then pay $50 for an Amazon gift card or something. It's like, come on, bro.
And here's the thing, like when somebody does that, it correlates into their whole entire life too. So for like Jonah, right? Jonah's putting his heart and soul into his business, and then it correlates to his YouTube page, right? Like his YouTube page right now has got some good content on it, and he's building it, rather than other people that are just trying to grow a YouTube page just to get followers to look cool. No, Jonah literally is pouring his heart and soul into his YouTube page to provide value to the world, to the marketplace, right? And that correlates, bro. So it's like, people, if you're looking at your business and you're like, yo, my business is not working for some sort of reason, I can't figure it out, take a look in the mirror and try to figure out, are you putting your freaking heart and soul into it? Like, are you putting your why into this shit? Whatever you do, like literally, Pace says this, how you do anything is how you do everything. It's so true. So I guarantee, Jonah, whatever, even like the little things that you do in life, like the gym or whatever the case is, you're probably putting your heart and soul into it. Daryl's the same way.
100%, man. And yeah, and like literally, like, it's interesting too. Like, it has to be, you have to repeat it to yourself too sometimes. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not perfect. Like, sometimes I'm like, man, I just want some goddamn money right now, right? Like, I'm not saying that like I'm always keeping my why in my mind, but for sure when I just started, especially, like, I didn't do that enough. So my deal flow was like very small in comparison to what it is now. It's like a constant exercise of being like, hey, why the hell am I here on earth? Not just the business, just like, why am I here on earth? Right? Like, how deep, like, you got to get really deep with yourself, not just for your business, but for your entire life, for the gym, for your fitness, for girls, for, I don't know, your money, like business, like every aspect of your life is like, why am I even doing this? Right. And get past like the surface level. Oh, girls to get laid, or like, oh, money to make business. It's like, get deeper than that, bro. Like, you are meant for more. And if you haven't realized it yet, then you got to start there 100%.
Yeah, bro. I can imagine, Daryl, that's probably why you went to go run a marathon like a week ago.
For sure.
Oh yeah, I saw that stuff. That was dope.
That's exactly why, bro. Just to dig deeper and find, like, because like it, yes, like you can make all the money in the world, right? Like you can do whatever you want, right? But until you like really just like lock in and figure out why you're doing what you're doing, it's not gonna mean anything, you know. Jonah, though, I'm interested, bro, because so for somebody who's watching, right, and they're like, all right, this agent outreach stuff is cool, right? I know agents. You know, I just got to follow up, ask them how to get deals. How many agents do you think that somebody need to speak to before they get their first deal?
Man, I won't lie. I don't have specific KPIs on to get your first deal, right? Like I know usually what it takes to get a deal or two a month in Northern California. So in Northern California.
Hold on, bro. My bad. Not to cut you off. I just seen this in the chat. This dude Jonah just made me 30.
Oh my guy, dude.
What the hell?
Yo.
Oh, no.
Yo, see? My boy's out here putting his heart and soul into the shit, yo.
Dude, I mean, I think Michael got it from, if I'm not mistaken, he was watching my Scorch Method Zoom. So I have like a Zoom series in sub 2. That's been so freaking nice. I love that.
Yo, literally, what did I just say? What I just said correlated in the comments. Like,
yeah,
yo, your YouTube page is probably making people these crazy $30,000 assignment fees. That's crazy. Do we have a link for this man's YouTube page or what?
It's in the chat.
Let's go. Yeah, go hit that YouTube page if you want to make 30 grand.
100%, guys. Right now, the YouTube page is just my podcast. I won't lie. And I don't go super into agent outreach. I go much more into just like the people that I interview and like really cool interviews and stuff. Starting November, I'm going to start releasing way more like how-to content. Like I got one that's like how to find buyers with no money in 30 minutes, how to find 100 buyers, right? I got a lot of stuff in the works for like specific videos that are going to be released in November. You'll find right now my podcast, which you guys should still watch. You will get a lot of gems like this, right? Like I have conversations exactly like this with other dope level people. Both of you have been on, right? Like, so like you guys should just check out the conversations that I had with both of these guys. Like they were both pretty sick. So, expect a lot more content from me on how to do it. Cause that's been my fault is I haven't done a lot in sub 2 and Astro, but I need to like start making it much, much, much more public, like the secret sauce. So
I love it.
Expect that.
If somebody DM'd you on Instagram,
what?
If somebody DM'd you on Instagram, would you reply with some sauce or what?
Yeah, 100%. Dude, I'm always replying with the sauce, dude. Come on now.
Dude, I've been getting a lot of that. I've been getting a lot of people asking me a ton of questions in my DMs, and I'll sit there for like an hour sending voice memos back to people.
Nice.
And I'm thinking about like only people like ourselves are literally replying to people. Other people are just like using their VAs to reply.
100%. I mean, I reply to everything. Like I will take the time to reply by text anytime. The only thing I don't do, or the only ones I don't reply to, is when somebody doesn't really introduce themselves to me and they're just like, hey man, you seem really cool. I'd love to talk to you for 5 minutes or something.
That is kind of weird, right?
Like, why do you deserve 5 minutes of my time, man? Like, you've given
that is kind of weird. It's like, hey bro, I see what you're doing. It's dope.
Those are the people that I like. Just
we should connect. I'm like,
yeah, and I'm just like, who are you? Do what? I don't know.
Jonah, so I love it. Let's give some of our viewers some of that secret sauce right now. Then while we're on, bro. Yo, so how are you reaching out to these agents in the first place? Like what are you using? Yeah, how do you do that?
So what I do, there are a couple different outreach methods that are the best ones in my opinion. Facebook is my favorite, in my opinion, right? Like I think realtors do a lot of business on Facebook. So just literally whatever market you're in, look up. I like doing it. I would look up something like, I don't know, San Francisco Bay Area wholesale deals, or San Francisco off-market fixers. Now, why I said off-market fixers and like wholesale deals and not like agent groups is because the agents that are in those groups do investment deals, right? Like if you do just agent groups, you're gonna like get people who are like, I don't like fixing.
Yeah,
like I just don't do them, right? Or they're like, and also if you do those groups at the same time, you grow your buyers list and you get wholesalers who might send you deals, right? Like I also am a disposition wholesaler a little bit. I consider myself mainly an acquisition wholesaler through agent outreach. Like that's my outreach method. I do a bit of dispo wholesaling too, so I'll sell deals for other wholesalers. But I think that's an amazing free way, really easy. I gotta release. Like I did like a ton of this in the Scorch method in sub 2, and Pace said like, hey, yeah, take the videos and cut them up. I'm gonna cut up all of them, and I literally went step by step on how to do it. So really, guys, like go to my YouTube channel, subscribe. You'll start seeing more content like that in like a month or two, and like you're gonna get really, really like step by step sauce.
Let's go.
That's one. That's my podcast, by the way, guys. Like,
okay. How do we get to your YouTube channel? Like, what do we search? Just your name?
My name. Look up Jonah Korchin, and you'll find me. There's not any other Jonah Korchins like on YouTube. So literally look at my name, and you'll find me. Facebook is really good. Going on to one of my new favorite no. All their best.
Okay, hold on. So do you have a VA doing this, or is this you doing this?
Now I have VAs doing it, but back in the day, I used to do it myself. Right?
So
when I was
you have a VA going into Facebook groups and messaging people?
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap! You're a genius.
Yeah, that's one. The other one is brokerage sites. Guys, if you want me, like literally one of you could share your screens, go to compass.com, right? Compass is a huge brokerage. What you do is let's say you're completely brand new, look up top 100 real estate brokerages in America. You'll find a page, you'll find the 100 brokerages, you type their name into Google, go to their website, all of them have a find an agent, right? Because they want to get you an agent as quick as possible, right? Find an agent, you type in Sacramento County or do whatever county you want to look for, and they give you a list of all their active agents literally like find an agent, type in Sacramento County or like whatever county you want to find agents in, right?
I went to compass.com, agents.
No, you were right there. Yeah, find an agent.
Find an agent.
Compass is one of my favorites because some don't let you search by county. Sometimes you have to do it by like city, which is a little annoying. But yeah, wherever. Like
that's what Phoenix wrong?
Must have. They definitely have Phoenix. Yeah. So like you can do the one. All right. You can do. There was one below that. I think you chose like an address. I'm not sure, but like there was one below that where it's like Sacramento County. So do Sacramento again. See at the bottom. Oh, at the bottom, Sacramento County. Now you have scroll down. Now you have all the active Compass agents. Their phone numbers. Those are all mobile numbers, guys.
Wow.
You can literally just click on every single one. Write down their number, put in an Excel file sheet, upload it to your favorite cold calling software or texting software, or whatever the hell you want to do. and you've just hit up every single Compass agent that's actively doing anything.
Damn.
You're in your market.
Wait, can you export that?
No, you got to do it manually. You got to like actually like type it in. I wish there was a way. That would be friggin' sick. So I have a VA that thank you, Augustine. I appreciate it. I'm spitting sauce right now. So there you go. You've got like every single brokerage. You just type in the most like prominent ones, which is like Compass, EXP, I don't know, the Berkshire. Like there's all sorts of ones. They all have it. Get a VA to do it. Get it in, upload it, and boom. You got all there.
Boom. You have a bunch of agents in a list that you're about to text, right? You text these people or you call them?
I text. I don't do cold calling.
Okay, what do those texts look like?
Real quick, before he drops any more sauce, really quick, before he drops any more sauce.
We better drop so much more sauce.
If you guys have not told your friends or your sisters, your cousin, anybody that you love to come in here and come listen to this sauce that Jonah is dropping right now, he's literally teaching you how to reach out to agents with no money.
Yeah, this is for free.
This is free. You don't have to pay to do this. Right? You just have to want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yo, tell somebody. Come through.
So I don't know. I don't know how to do this, but I'm putting in the private chat because I don't know how to put it in the comments. You guys look in the private chat. I just put in, because people ask me that all the time. It's like, so like, what's your text outreach? I just put a Google Doc I public. I give it to anyone who wants it. That's my agent outreach text. All of them. There's three.
Oh man.
So there you go. You got the sauce right there. You guys can put it in the comments, or I don't know how someone on YouTube would be able to get it, but like
let me read one right now.
Okay.
Hey, let's pretend Jonah.
So let me preface first before you start reading them. The beginning texts are pretty similar to what you would get from like other people, right? Because he's gonna read these out loud, and then like you guys are gonna be like, wait a minute, that's not relationship building at all. You literally just said you're not like every other dude in here. But at the beginning, you can't just start off by saying like I'm a problem solver. People get confused.
Yeah, they're also probably weirded out.
Yeah, they're just like, what? But anyways, so I just want to say, so you can read them out loud if you want, or I can. It's up to you.
So the first one, let's pretend Jonah is the realtor. Hey there, Jonah. Oh, this doesn't work. Let's say Daryll is the realtor. Hey there, Daryll. My name is Jonah. I'm an investor looking for flips all over Northern California. I found your number on the National Realtors list. I would love to connect and see if we can make a deal happen. I love it.
So, okay, let me preface this too. So that's day one, that text goes out, right? Okay. Very few people respond to that because it's like the same. So in between all the text you're about to read is like a day separation, and then the next text goes.
Okay, so this next text I'm about to read is like the couple days after.
1 day.
1 day. Oh, so this is like a automatic drip type of campaign, or
1 day after if they don't respond, automatic drip.
Love it. So hi, this is the second time you're reaching out after they didn't answer. Hi, Daryll. I wanted to see if you got my text from yesterday. I am hungry for another fixer, and I would really love to work with you so that we can both make money.
I don't just want another fixer. I'm hungry.
I'm hungry
for one. Yo,
hungry all caps. It's all caps.
For the chat, we're gonna drop the chat we're gonna drop the script when we get
actually do this. No. Don't drop them. Don't drop them the Google link. If you already did it, it's okay. I just thought about this. Don't drop the Google link in the comments. If you guys want access to it and you guys are too lazy to write it down as he's reading it aloud, what you got to do is you got to follow me on YouTube. You got to follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is @thescorch. We'll go through it. If you follow me on social media stuff, I'll give it to you for free. I'll drop a bunch of sauce on you guys. I'll give that for free. I'll give what did I recently give out? I'll give an Excel file sheet of like how I all the information that I get from buyers. Like I'll give you guys a ton of sauce if you guys prove to me you followed me, and we'll go from there. So you can keep reading it, but
that's it. That's all they got to do.
That's all I got to do. It's free as hell.
Come on, bro.
Bro, I suggest they follow Jonah right now. If you guys are not already following him on Instagram and YouTube, go do that right now. Paulina, I can't make sure you get it. You got to make sure you get it. You got to reach out.
You guys want it. It's good.
You got to reach it. You got to reach out.
So the last text.
This is the killer one, by the way.
I
Like,
love it. This one's fire. This one screams Mike. This is some shit I would say. Daryll, no worries if you never came across fixers or don't want to work with me. I would just like to know so that I could take you off my list. I love that.
Pull away, dude. It's the pull away. What we learned from Pace, bro.
Straight pull away, bro. One of my favorite things to do. Is this deal?
Killer line, I almost get all my responses from that. I constantly get responses like, "Oh, my bad. Like I thought you were just a robot."
My bad, bro.
You know what that is? You know what that is, bro? That's your abundance mindset, right? And that's what you need to have in this game, right? Because if you're scared to lose one deal or one relationship, one agent, right, you're never gonna get one. You're never gonna get one because you're not willing to walk away.
Yeah,
so,
the same thing talking to sellers.
Yeah,
I say that I sent out a text today to a seller. We're trying to get it. Let me read this text. We're trying to get a deal done. Well, a deal restructured. I said, "Hey, Russ, should I assume that you are all set on Brandon Ave?"
Yeah,
that's gotten me multiple deals. No, I'm crawling back. Like, yo, what the heck? No, I'm good. Like, my bad, bro.
Yep. 100%. But like, I don't do direct to seller, but I will help people out because I've watched so many Zooms with Pace on like how to do it. Like I'm helping one friend out. This is a direct to seller one. She's a sub-2 student. Her name's Reagan. And she's like, this seller's been screwing with her basically, right? Like has been like, it's on the MLS and then the seller like does this whole thing. Like I had like a hour-long conversation with her and then she sells it to somebody else on the MLS. And then it goes out of contract. And this happened with me only once, with them like 2 or 3 times. I'm like, here's what you say. You basically say, hey, I assume like we're not talking anymore, right? Because we keep doing this over and over again. You keep selling to other people. So I'm assuming like we should close the file, right? Like those are always the best lines. Always.
They always come crawling back.
Yeah.
So
go ahead, Mike.
I was going to ask, what happens when they come back to you and they say, yes, I want to do deals with you?
So then it's immediately get on the phone, right? Like the next step, if you're a solopreneur, is get on the phone as quickly as possible. If they're like, hey, would love to talk to you, thought you were a robot, whatever. They respond in anything slightly positive even. Honestly, even neutral. As long as they don't say, stop texting me, you call them immediately, right? Because you're in the same way that a seller is never going to sell you a deal if you never call them. Like I don't know if you guys know anybody who's closed a deal via just solo text and never getting on the phone, right? Like I'm assuming it's the same with direct to seller. You have to get on the phone and at least do an intro call. Now, it doesn't have to be long. Most of my intro calls are like 2 to 5 minutes. Like it can be really quick. Like my goal in those intro calls are just to literally just to save a line I said earlier, the tool and tool belt line. Like my goal here is to be the tool in your tool belt that you use in order to solve problems, right? You get that line out, that's the minimum, right? That's the minimum to get out because that shows to them your heart. And like for me, that's everything, is like to get them to realize like that is where I'm coming from. Everything else is not necessary. Like everything else will be like, maybe they're very talkative or like they want to know. What'll happen a lot of times, this will happen a lot of times too, I'll say that line and they'll be like, okay, but like what's your criteria? And I'm like, okay, that is my criteria, really, is finding a problem. I can tell you my technical criteria, just so like, because agents love technical criteria, right? They just do. I don't know. I think it's because they just hate the idea of like the send me everything type of thing, which I get. I think that can be pretty annoying. It's kind of annoying on the wholesaling side, or on the buyer side. But yeah, like I'm like, okay, first off, the most important thing is the problem. And then I'll give them like a technical criteria, right? And the technical criteria is 100% dependent on your market, right? Like you got to be really sure that if you're newer, because we're talking to newer people, the technical criteria you get from a buyer or a dispo wholesaler that you trust, That's where you get the technical criteria from. And a lot of times I want to hear that as well. So most of my conversations are like the tool in the tool belt line, going a little bit into technical criteria. And if it's anything more, they probably have a property right now. Right. And so if they have a property right now, obviously start asking about it, get the 4 pillars, get the information you get for direct to seller, and then run your numbers and go from there.
Because you want to catch their attention, right? Like if you just tell them, just send me everything, whenever they go look at that property, well, let me back up a little bit. If you tell them a specific criteria, if that specific criteria comes across your desk, you're the first person that they're going to think about. But if you tell them, send me everything, that deal is going to come across their desk and you're not on their mind.
You want it to be the problem. Like I stress, it's like, look, really, when you see a problem, that's when you hit me up. Like the technical criteria, you can, like what I'll say, here's another one. It's like, I can do the whole vacant fixer thing, close in 2 weeks, pay all closing costs. I can do that. But I am not any different than any other real estate investor going that route. I probably won't be the highest bid. Like, I'll be honest with you. Like, I just probably won't be, just because like that's not my specialty, right? Like where you should really use me is when there's a problem. And that also throws in there, I think that's like probably another line you guys sometimes use with direct to seller of like being like, you're probably not going to get the highest price from me. Yep. It like softens it when I lowball, right? Or when or just when giving an offer, if they have like unrealistic expectations. So
are you going for more creative deals? Are you getting more creative deals when you're dealing with these agents, or are you also getting cash deals as well?
So the main issue with agent outreach, the biggest flaw, in my opinion, easily, is it is much harder to get creative deals, right? Like, I'm not going to lie, that's easily the hardest part. And here's why. With direct to seller, you're dealing with one barrier with creative financing. You have to go through that whole education process with one person, right? Now, with agent outreach, you have an extra barrier. You now need the agent to understand, explain it well enough to the seller that they want to talk to you, and then you have to re-explain it to the seller, right? So you've got like 2 different barriers, and these 2 have to be communicating well with each other, and trusting each other for that to work. I've done creative deals. I just got a lease option sandwich through an agent, but it is much harder. To be honest, like through agent outreach, I probably get a creative deal a year, to be real, from that lead source. I'm doing like 2 creative deals a year, and one is from a wholesaler and one is from an agent right now. That's the biggest flaw with it. But the pros are, it is really nice if you're not a closer, right? I think you should do direct to seller if you're a closer, but if you're not a closer, if you're literally almost any other avatar, I think agents are just so amazing because it's the pressure is taken off of you. There's no pressure, right? Some people thrive in pressure. You 2 thrive with that pressure, right? I actually used it. When I did direct to seller, I don't know if you guys know this, I started with direct to seller. I did like a year of direct to seller, and I actually have more of a closer personality. Mm-hmm. I'm also cool with just it being like that, right? Because with agents, it'll just be like they'll send you a property, and you're like, oh damn, that's like $50K. Yeah, give me that deal, right? And then you just decided for $50K, which is like really sick.
When you're talking to them, are you like doing any type of sales with the agent? Like asking them, hey, where would we have to be to get this deal done?
I mean, a little bit. Like, I would say not really, to be honest. Literally, probably what I do is I'll just be like, it's okay, so what's their price, right? Their price. They give a price. If it has motivation, then I comp it. And then I'll be like, all right, like, honestly, I'll probably have to be somewhere around here, right? And I'll usually go like 50K below whatever I think it needs to be, just a starting point, because it gives me some negotiation, right? Because there is negotiation, but there's an intermediary. So there's no pressure. It's like, I give my price, agent goes back to seller. Seller then is like, no, I want blah, blah, blah. And then they lower their price. And I'm like, okay, great. I'll go up 20K, maybe, right? It might be like that.
So it is some type of sales. I mean, you're anchoring it. It's some type of sales.
Like dude, direct to seller is so much more sales skills, right? Like you can't just be like, you can't be to a seller. They give you a price of 300 and you're like, sorry, man. Like, I think the best I can do is 150, right? Without them like going crazy, right? While the agent, well, you can just do that with an agent, you know, like there's
the agent knows sales.
Yeah.
A lot of agents are good at sales. So these properties, are they typically off market or?
So mine are typically off market. Those are the ones where I make the most amount of money and the ones I target, right?
Yeah.
Not always. For me, okay, I literally have like a training of this where I like went through like all the deals that I had done up to a certain point. I'm like, okay, 20 deals were off market with the listing agent. Then there were 4 deals that were off market, not with the listing agent. Then there were 4 deals that were on market with the listing agent. And then there were 2 on market with not the listing agent, right? And it was just it was for my team to be like.
Everybody watching YouTube right now is like, damn, that's like freaking 30 deals, son.
It's 30 deals, and that was like a while ago. That was like 8 months ago or something. But I've been in it a while. I've been in it like 2.5 years. So, anyways, so where was I going with that? The vast majority are off market with the listing agent, right? Because then you have the most leverage. The vast majority of my deals are like, hey, they don't really want to go onto market. I know you keep hitting me up. What, like, the price is this, what would you need it at? Then I give my price. And honestly, usually it's just like, they're like, screw it. Like, let's do it. I want to do it. And then we just lock it up and send it.
So the reason why I asked that question is because for me, people will bring me, because I have a decent buyer pool. I'm not a dispo wholesaler at all. Like, I really don't like dispoing, but some people will be like, hey, bro, I have a deal in your market. Do you want to buy it? I'm like, no, but I might have a buyer for it. Right.
Right.
But some of them will be on market. And I don't know. For me, I would rather not go to a buyer with an on market property, because then they're just like, dude, I could have just went to the agent myself. When realistically, like, you did put the work in and you build the relationship with the realtor and everything like that. And they might not really see that. But at the end of the day, I don't know. What are your thoughts on wholesaling on market deals to buyers?
Like I said, I mean, I've still out of 30 deals, I still, when that was a while ago, like out of 30 deals, it was, how many did I say? 6 or 7? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not saying don't do it, right? Like, I still made, there's probably at least 100K in there, probably more, right? Out of those 6 deals. I don't know. So like, I'm not saying you can't make money. I would not be afraid of what the buyer thinks, right? Like, I think that's kind of dumb. What I would say is have a pretty good argument as to why it's worth what you're saying it is, right? I think the biggest issue, or why people hate on market deals, it's probably market specific, right? In the Bay Area, this is how it was. It's kind of changed now because of the whole interest rates things. But before the interest rates, what they do is they would turn it into a bidding war, right? Mm-hmm. So you would have to go over market value, right? And like, if you're over the listing price, then like you're done. Like, in my opinion, like, you're basically done. You're not selling something for over listing price almost ever. And if it is, it's like 5K, and like it just got listed. So like the buyer sees it's been on market for like 12 hours or something, and then you're wholesaling it. Like, you're going insanely fast, right? You just have to be able to make the argument of being like, yeah, but like, I mean, I'm selling it 80K below market. Yeah, it's on the market, but it's at a ridiculously lower price, right? If you can do that, then the buyer will be like, okay, maybe. And then maybe you'll sell it, right? Like, again, I've done on market deals. And there are people who much more do it than me, right? I'm not personally that big of a fan of it. I like much more agent relationships. And I think that's where you're going to make the vast majority of your money, right? Like it would be curious to see, for instance, what Keegley, like their KPIs, but I'm willing to bet similar to mine, where it's like mostly off markets through agents. I don't know.
I got two things, bro. One, I'm super grateful for you. I really appreciate today because like I'm taking some things that I learned today and I'm about to implement it in my business. And I already know about the 10X, so I'm about to do some deals together too. I'm gonna make sure we make that happen. So, but my thing was because what we're doing right now is we're reaching out to agents who have properties listed for 30 plus days, kind of like the Elephant Challenge model, right? And just what we're doing is a lot more sales, I would say, with that, because these realtors, they also have pain, right? Like they have these properties listed, they put money into it, right? A lot of times, and their reputation's on the line, right? So we've been hitting on that. What are your thoughts about those types of deals that have been like those leads that are like long term listed but just haven't sold?
They work, right? Like again, like I'm not trying to like poo poo on like on market deals.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
It's just not my thing, right? Like I just personally don't do that strategy. Yeah. So like I'm not gonna say it's necessarily a bad one. It's just I just don't do it really. Like that's not the thing. Like what I do is because like my on market deals, what'll happen is obviously right while I'm hitting agents up, not specifically about a property, they're gonna send me sometimes on market deals, right? And they'll tell me if they have pain about it anyways. Like, again, I do another, like, what were we calling it? Like,
pull away.
Thank you. Where I'll be like, look, I told you my criteria. I don't really do on markets unless you're like the listing agent and like, you're, or there's like some sort of problem. So like, what is the problem?
Right.
And then they tell me the problem, right? And then I find that pain that way, right?
I got you.
So what you're doing isn't bad. It still works. I like my method more because I'm gonna sort through all of your leads anyways and get more, right? Because like I said, I just showed you how to find every single realtor in Compass. Every single one is listed on that website, right? That's doing anything, right? So I'm hitting up your pained realtors and ones you can't see because they didn't list it. So I just like my method more. I think it's more effective.
I love it, bro. We're definitely going to implement that. So, all right, my next question: when you do get a deal with these agents, right? What is done differently? Because from what I'm understanding, it's a completely different process than direct to seller. Right?
It's very different. The whole thing is very different. Like I'm going to be real with you. The acquisition process is different. The escrow process is different. The disposition process is different. So what I always say to people, right, if you are doing direct to seller and you don't feel like your stuff is really like dialed down and SOP'd and like you've really got your stuff going, my personal recommendation, here's what I say. If you feel like you're ready to start another business, like if you're wholesaling and you're doing direct seller and you feel like you're ready to flip, then add on agent outreach because it's the same. It's as different wholesaling agent deals as it is flipping a house compared to wholesaling. Like it is not just another outreach method. It is a whole another business model. So my personal recommendation is like choose one, right? My story, by the way, guys, I don't know if you guys know my story of origin is like I started with direct to seller. I joined Astro, then I joined Sub2. I tried to do both direct to seller and agents at the same time. So the first 8 months of the business, I only made $10,000, right, in assignment fees. The reason for that was I was half-assing both of them, right? Like it isn't, and because I'm saying this also because we're talking to like newer people. If you're doing one, stick to it until you have feel like you can start another business. That's my personal recommendation, because once I chose one, I was like, screw it. I have $1,000 in the bank. I need to just do the cheaper one, which was agent outreach, right? And then a month later, I made like $45,000, literally as soon as I just made the decision of focus. Damn. Right?
What's the biggest difference though between the two, between closing a deal with agents and direct to seller? What would you say?
It's so much easier, I would say. Like the acquisitions part is okay. So acquisitions is ridiculously easier in my opinion. There's just so much less finesse. There's a lot of finesse in the escrow process. There's a lot more finesse in the escrow process because agents have a very specific way of doing things. You're not getting away with anything, right? Some direct to seller deals, I bet you maybe, at least I did this when I was starting. I didn't even deposit EMD because the seller's not freaking checking. Yeah. You know, they don't really care. It's like, oh, you went past your inspection, shit, whatever, dude. Like,
yeah, it's funny because
the feds are watching, so I'm not gonna say nothing. But like, I know.
That's competing with my TC.
It's a civil thing, bro. Like, you're not gonna go to jail, but anyways, the point is, like, during the escrow process, like if you've gotten to a point with the contract, you probably have rapport with them, and like it's just way easier, right? Like they get, like, if you're having people come through, like it's much simpler. Like you prep them, right? All that stuff. Okay.
So do you have to have a transaction coordinator? Because essentially the agent is a transaction coordinator, right?
I would highly recommend it, because the agent, if you don't know the agent very well, they are not on your side. They are 100% against you. They see you as a real, like, it is impossible to actually do dual representation, right? That's actually just not possible. You either are on one side of the transaction or the other. They are always going to take the seller side because you're the real estate investor, right? Where was I going with that? So the escrow process is a lot harder because, like, if you're not doing things the way they think things should be done, they're going to get pissed at you, right? So they are also, so a couple of different things. So like one is that, like, if you're not keeping to inspection days and like, like doing it the way they have it in their head, like they don't understand why you need 10 people to show up to the house, right? You do because you have 10 buyers, right? But to them, they're like, what the hell? Like, why would you need that many people, right? So you have to prep them for that. And there's like a way to prep them for that. It is much more likely that they find out that you're wholesaling the deal, right? So before you get under contract, you got to make sure you've prepped them that you were going to wholesale the deal, right? Mm-hmm. So I'll drop this too. So for instance, so what I do is I have an assignment.
There's going to be some sauce.
This man is
ready for this.
Sauce, bro.
Ready for more sauce? So I have an assignment clause that I put into my contract always. I don't care if the realtor contract in your state has an assignment clause, put it in another assignment clause, right? The whole point of it is not so you can assign the property. The whole point of it is so you put on notice to the realtor, to maybe the other realtor, and to the seller that you might assign this, right? You want to get that out of the way immediately before the transaction even starts, right? So you'll do that. And then not actually as much as you would think, but sometimes the realtor will come back to you and be like, hey, like, I don't know if I want to do business with you. Like, this is just too, like, I don't like your contract. I'm like, okay, what do you not like? What do you not like about the contract, right? Like, what's going on? And they're like, yeah, like, you put in an assignment clause here, and I don't really understand that. I've heard a lot of bad things about wholesalers. I'm right now speaking their subconscious. They say it in different words, right? But like, this is their subconscious. And then I'm like, yeah. So here's why I put that in there, right? I do everything, right? And you can say if you don't do I actually do everything. So you can say me and my partners do everything, right? We flip, we buy and hold, and we wholesale. We're real estate investors. We're in this business to make money any way we possibly can. So I'll tell you a little bit about our process. So what's first going to happen is we're going to get it under contract. I'm gonna send out my business partners out there for the first one, right? We're gonna see it, and then we're gonna discuss whether we actually want it or not, right? After that, If we don't want it, the wholesaling side of our business will send it to some of our friends who are willing to take less margin than us, which makes it where the deal is more likely to go through. Mm-hmm. You're actually more likely to get your commission and more likely to solve the seller's problem with that assignment clause. So it's actually a benefit to everyone involved. And then there'll be some realtors who are like, screw you, I don't care, I've been screwed by wholesalers. You don't want that deal. It is too much of a headache if after that explanation, they still don't want to do business with you. I don't care if you think you're going to make, like, unless it's like, if it's like so killer that it doesn't matter, then don't do the assignment clause and close on it yourself, right? Mm-hmm. Hit up any of us three, and if it's that killer of a deal where like it's worth it to close on ourselves, any of us will help you close on it. All of us can get hard money loans. All of us have the money to close on it. We'll close on it and then just resell it. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, unless it's like one of those types of deals where you're willing to close on it yourself, then it's just not worth the headache, in my opinion.
I love that,
bro. This is awesome. Now I know why they call you the Scorch, bro. You just came up there and scorched Wholesale Hardknocks, bro.
I am dropping fire right now, dude. Like, I don't think I've dropped fire on a podcast publicly like this before. You guys are asking some good questions. You guys are doing some good questions right now. 100%. You're asking the good stuff.
We're just trying to drop some value for our peeps that are tuning in, our loyal supporters that come in every single Wednesday to watch Wholesale Hardknocks. Love it, bro. Jonah, you provided so much value to us. How does somebody watching, how do they say, yo, I really love this Jonah guy. How do I provide value to him?
Again, like, my goal right now is really trying to grow my social media. You're going to hear way more of this in video content soon. I was telling them beforehand, I hired a social media manager. So it won't just be my podcast anymore. It'll be a lot about like what I'm talking with them about, like specific strategies of how to do it with realtors, not just like a podcast interviewing other people. That'll be really coming soon. That's coming in like 2 weeks, starting in November. Basically, the best thing you can do is just subscribe to YouTube, follow me on Instagram. I'd say just those two, like, seriously, like that's really like the best goal. Obviously, if you're doing deals in Northern California, especially like either San Francisco or Sacramento, those are my markets, right? I can help in other places. I'm not going to lie. I just am not as interested in other places unless it's creative. Cash deals, I don't do that much in other places just because like I'm too busy with those markets. I'm about to open up in Colorado though. So if you send me deals in Denver or Colorado Springs, I'll be interested too. But if those aren't your markets, then simply just following and
Pueblo?
What
about Pueblo? Pueblo, Colorado.
I don't even know where that is, dude. I just moved here. I moved here a month ago. Where's Pueblo, Colorado?
Look it up, bro. We possibly can work a deal together.
You got something there?
You have one there?
I mean, how close is it to?
That was where Grant Cardone did that show.
Really?
Yeah. You know how you did
not too far from.
That's close enough. That's close enough to Colorado Springs for sure. Like that looks like what? Like it's 30 minutes away from Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
Hit up Uncle G, dog.
Yeah, let's do it, bro.
Uncle G landed in Pueblo, Colorado, with like $100.
I love it.
It was like a $5 million business or something like that within 90 days without having nothing. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. That's dope. For sure, man.
Undercover billionaire.
I love it. Yo, Jonah, well, we're gonna do that deal together, brother. If you guys got some value today, make sure you subscribe to all of Jonah's stuff. Make sure you follow him on Instagram. I'm sure if you hit the link in his Instagram, you can get to his YouTube and everything like that. So go to his Instagram. Make sure you follow him.
Just look up my name on YouTube.
Yep, look up his name and make sure you follow what this guy's doing because he just dropped so many gems on us today. It's crazy. I know I'm gonna 10x my business from this today.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah. So if you guys, Mike, you have anything, bro?
Yeah, I promise you, there's nobody on YouTube, Instagram, or anything talking about the strategies that you were just talking about. They might talk about it a little bit, and they might like plant little seeds or something to get people to go into their mentorship or whatever they got. But I promise you, there's nobody talking about the like into the weeds type of shit with direct to agent that Jonah was just talking about. So I'm excited to see what's coming next on the YouTube pages. I guarantee it's going to make the gurus like cry.
100%. And one more thing for the audience. I also want all of you to hate on Mike's video about agent outreach.
Go pump the algorithm up.
You got to do out of this. Just hate on it. Like, just be like, boo, this is not true. This is misinformation.
I love it.
I love it. Yo, so make sure you guys, if you guys have not already liked this video, like this video, subscribe to me and Mike's channel. We come live every single Wednesday, 4 o'clock Arizona time, 7 o'clock Eastern time, 6 o'clock Central. We're just gonna keep dropping value, keep dropping bombs for y'all every single week. We out of here, y'all.
Yes, sir.